Are we ready to learn? You guys know all this?
No.
Well, some of it,
There's
but-
these.
What's that? Do you guys go through music class in high school?
No. I know the letters.
Okay, so what are the letters? Let's start there. So that's good to know. So let's start there. What are the letters? How do you remember the letters? The lines spell out what? That's what I've always taught. Every good boy does fine. I've also heard every
Good
Good.
burger.
what is it?
Burger.
Burger
Deserves fries.
deserves fries.
And Elvis's guitar broke down
Oh,
Friday.
Elvis's guitar broke down Friday.
Every gummy bear dies fine as well.
So, what's in the middle? So the spaces are FACE, right?
Face!
Now, the nice thing is, if you find one note, you can always find the others because it's alphabetical, A through G, right? So watch this. A, then the next line up, B, then the space next up is C, D, E, F, and then it would actually repeat down here. So you can see E, F, G, and then goes back to A, B, C, D, E, F, then you'd have a G, right? And it keeps going up.
And it also spells
So,
face.
when we say you gotta find your starting note, the first note in your song is what you wanna find on your pitch pipe. Everybody needs to use a pitch pipe this year. Okay?
What the pitch
Have a,
pipe?
have a seat, have a seat. You've used the pitch pipe on your phone before.
I don't know what a pitch pipe is.
Hayden, sit down and listen.
What is a pitch pipe?
Go see, sit down and listen. Little man.
I have one.
Has he got B up there?
B.
Here it is.
Yeah, the line's just kind of.
So, E is on here.
Yeah, I don't have a pitch pipe.
Alright?
I
What-
do not
what's the
have
next
a
note?
pitch pipe either.
F, G, A, right?
Yeah.
So, when you have to find your pitch, you want to look at the very first note you're singing and then figure out where it's at on these lines. Then you have one other thing to look at. Sharps and flats. They can be anywhere on here. There's rules, you don't have to know the rules on where they appear. But if you have a sharp or flat, it changes half a note, right? So instead of being, here is C and then D, C, D, but a C sharp is halfway in between. Okay, what's that? Flashbacks.
I don't get any of these.
Okay,
because I-
so that's all. A sharp means you're taking the note and going a half pitch higher. A flat is you're taking the note and going a half a pitch lower, right?
What do I
So,
put the sharp
what would
in?
this note be
What
right
is
here?
sharp?
On this line. If there was a note on this line, what would that be? It
E,
says it right there. E, good job. What about here?
G,
G.
B.
What about here?
C,
C. What about here?
F,
No. Try again. What about on that line?
F,
F what?
sharp,
F sharp because there's a sharp there. What about this one?
big. I call
B
them
what?
Flat.
B flat. This is gonna be a trick. What about this one?
F,
F what?
F,
F sharp. Because you got repeating Fs. If it's a sharp here, it's a sharp here.
then why
Okay.
did I make a sharp?
So because you only make it one time and then it carries over for
Why
any time you
not?
ever have
Words
that.
are coming, don't
Okay.
worry.
So
Same for the flat, Taylor.
same thing for a flat. If there's two, you might have what's the easiest repeat?
E,
It's hard to get a repeat. I guess you'd have an E flat. So you could have a flat here, and that would make this.
you have a B. Oh, no, we already said the B.
You guys good with that?
Yup.
I'm
Good?
good at it.
Good? Okay,
No, I'm not good with this.
let's talk about time signature, because this is your
I
biggest
love
thing.
playing times. What
Your
times
time
four?
signature, what's 4 mean?
The 4 times 4 equals.
Anybody know? What's that? 4 beats per measure.
Oh, wait,
Right?
no, 'cause
4
he
beats
said
per measure is the
times.
top one.
He
And what's
said
the bottom one tell you?
times. Let me think, let me think.
Come on, Mrs. Book Smart. Come on.
He said
What's it
the
say?
times, so what is it?
It's
4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets a full beat.
If you would sit and pay attention.
Right?
pretty solid.
What was it, Jesse?
Times.
What was it?
You
What's
said
the bottom say?
times,
Okay,
so it's
shh.
16.
Hey. 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets the full beat, right? So, if you come over here, right? We're in a measure here. There's 4 quarter notes. They're all getting a full beat, right? Boom, 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 right?
I can't believe I could actually not be doing this.
So, let's talk about what the notes are. What's this? What do we call this note?
Half note?
Close. What's that one? If you're in 4/4 time, that's a whole note, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole note because it gets all the beats, right? In 4/4 time, the whole note gets all the beats in the measure.
So you
Does that make sense?
For
It gets 4 beats, right? So
Isn't the whole note the silent one?
there's not a, I was hoping I
This
had
is
an
a whole
example.
note
Yeah, so if you
silent.
see a whole note, that means you're gonna beat 4 times
in that
before-
single.
I thought it was
in that measure.
silent.
Does that make sense?
I thought that
What's
the whole
next
note
to
is
it?
silent. Half note?
Yeah, so it's the empty circle with a staff on it.
I forgot.
That's a half note. Guess how many beats a half note gets? If a whole note gets 4, a half note gets 2 beats, right? 1, 2, right? 1,
Just
2,
like a
right?
TT.
This one looks like a half note, but it's colored in.
Yeah.
What does that make it?
Quarter.
Quarter
Quarter
note. We had
note.
whole, we had half note, now we have quarter note. Guess how many beats the quarter note gets? 1 beat. How do we know it gets 1 beat? Because what did this say?
Sometimes it's called ta.
This was 4 beats in a measure. This tells us the quarter note gets that full beat, right? Everybody with us?
Yeah.
Caitlin says I know all this.
I don't get it.
3 years ago.
Still. I still
What,
don't
6th
get
grade?
this.
What grade are you in now?
Talking more than Clem is.
I still
So
don't
4
really
years
get
ago.
this.
So, quarter note gets the full beat, right? That's why over here in this measure, we have 4 quarter notes.
Ta 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 ta.
Make sense?
Also known
Everybody
as
with me?
ta.
Raise your hand if you're not with me. Kat, you look worried.
Yeah, repeat that one.
So, this gets 4 beats,
Yeah.
this gets 2 beats,
Yeah.
this gets 1 beat,
Wow.
right?
No.
So, if you had a full measure of just quarter notes, you'd have 4 quarter notes, right? Because they each get 1 beat, right?
You forgot the
So,
three.
1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all
1,
different
2,
notes,
3,
right?
bazillion,
That's what this would be,
3
right?
bazillion, 3 bazillion.
What's that?
Yeah, so 4 quarter notes would be 1 full.
Then they should combine
Right, 1
that.
plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4.
Then they should combine that all and put it into a tika tika.
Okay, you guys good there? Now we're gonna get a little, now we're gonna get a little tricky.
No, I don't get it.
Hey,
What?
try to stay with us a little bit. I know, it's a little bit boring, just try to stay with it just a little bit more, okay? You're good there, okay? I'm gonna teach you one more thing, Hayden, and then you can head out. So this one, what do you think this is? Yeah, this helps you in band.
The opposite of full.
So this was 4, this was 2, this is 1.
So is that half?
Oh, there you go. It's a half beat, right? Now, it's funky because it can show up a different way. Sometimes it'll show up with a staff and a flag on it. Sometimes they'll link a couple of them together. So that's
So if
2,
there's 2 of those that we put together, it would just look like that.
yes. So whole note, half note, quarter note, 8th note. 8th note gets half a beat. So if you're gonna have all 8 notes in one measure, how many 8th notes are you gonna have?
8 notes.
What's that?
Repeat that.
Yeah, how many 8 notes are you gonna have?
2?
In 8 measures.
In one measure, you're gonna have
Oh, 8, okay.
8
yeah.
of them, yeah, right?
Got it.
Because they're half beats, right? Ding, 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 okay? You guys got it? So, We're gonna go through this and see what we've learned today. You guys ready? Here's your test. Okay, I'm gonna help you out. We've done the first one together. This is 4-4 time, right?
Yeah.
The first measure, what's a measure? What's a measure?
yard or a meter or any of those.
Yeah,
One of the.
you're right in that case, but in music, a measure is a distance between these two lines.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a measure. That's where this defines 4 beats are in a measure. So you're gonna have 4 beats in between every 2 lines.
I think that they get
Okay.
this, but I don't.
So,
I don't really
how many
know.
beats are in this measure? 4, and what note do we have there?
A
The whole note. Here we have how many beats in a measure?
4.
2 halves making
4.
4, right? So we have 4 beats, 2 beats on that note, 2 beats on that note, right? This measure we have how many beats?
4.
Or how? Yeah, 4 beats, all individual quarter notes, right?
Why do they look like cursive since they're sideways?
I don't know. So what do we have in this one? This is the tricky one.
4.
The last measure we have
We
half
have
notes. The
4.
first one gets how many beats? Half note gets how many beats?
1, 2, 3, 4.
A half note gets 2 beats.
Oh yeah,
2
the
beats.
half.
And then quarter notes each gets
1.
1 beat,
It's
right?
4, 4, 4, 4.
Da, da,
I know the
da.
answer.
Da, 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 right?
God bless all.
You guys got it?
I know
Okay,
what the answer is.
okay. Here is our test.
Yay, I love tests.
We have to figure out where the measure line goes here.
Great. Oh yeah, why are there wait, is every measure line having
So, we'll start with Hayden. Hayden, where do I put the first measure line?
just tell me, does every measure line have 4?
Every measure line, it says 4-4, right? So every measure line has to have 4 beats. So where will I put it?
Follow these?
Point to it without drawing it, because,
Is it right down that? Like,
so, how many beats are there? Let's count.
1,
2,
2.
what's that?
And it's right after
3,
that
4.
one.
Yep, you're right. It's right there.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay,
Okay.
who's going next?
I like the color
We have
nothing.
to.
Pat, where's the next one?
Go on,
Right after the
Callie.
whole note.
Right after what?
The whole.
The whole note. Good job. That was sneaky there. Next one. Right after over here.
No, the 2 quarters of that.
So what are these?
I know they're.
Whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note.
Okay, so quarters.
So what are these?
Quarters.
Those are what? Do you see the little flag on them?
Oh.
So they are what notes?
We'll
Eighth
need
notes,
to
which
actually
get
highlight them.
half a beat each, right?
So.
So half a beat,
Half a beat.
that makes you,
1.
yeah, 1 there. How many gets there?
4. Wait.
2.
Is that
That's a half note,
Oh, that's a half.
right?
So.
Because it has a staff on it. So that's 2, 3. How many beats does that get?
2. So that's.
How many does this one get?
Oh, no.
So quarter note. Quarter note gets, it's 4-4. Quarter note gets what?
Jesse, 1.
Yep, 1. So
It goes right after
half, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our line
I
goes
know a
right
lot
there.
of this better than Jesse. He
Caitlin,
doesn't even know what that is. The quarter note was the first.
so how many beats is this? 2. How many beats is the second one? 2. So right after there. Next one. Next one. Hey, as soon as we finish this line, you can be done.
Yay!
Little trick here. What's this? What kind of note's that?
That's a half note.
It's what? A dotted half note. We didn't learn about dotted half notes. What are dotted half notes?
I think I learned that maybe
Dotted half notes add half the beat to the note.
Oh,
So
and right after that.
without the dot, what is that?
A half note.
A half note which gets how many beats?
2.
2 beats. If you add half of 2 beats, what would that make it?
1.
1. So 2 plus 1 is
3 beats.
3. So how many beats does this get?
3.
That gets 3 beats.
Oh, I know where it goes.
Okay, so the half note with a dot means you add half of that.
This kid.
You got it?
Yes.
Cat's flipping out here. So how many beats are here?
3.
3.
3.
And then how many beats is this one?
4.
4.
That's
So
one, but yeah,
boom,
4.
right there. Yeah.
So that's 4 beats.
Yeah.
Good?
Life is beautiful.
What about this last one?
Times.
What are these? Kaylin, what are these?
So
TT.
What's that? Eighth note, eighth note.
Also known
Both
as
half beats,
TT.
right? So 1 full beat, 2 full beats, 3 4. So that's the end of the measure.
Hey, mister.
We good there?
yep.
No, they're also known as TTs.
Okay.
TT.
Never heard that, but.
Okay. That's where I live.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Beautiful music.
Because your teacher says, yeah, ta, that thing. I forget how that's used though. Do you remember? Yeah.
TT
Yeah.
is 8 notes.
Yeah.
Ta
TT.
is a quarter.
Ta,
Ta, TT, ta.
ta, ti.
Tika tika is 4.
And what's half note?
It just is literally called
The
a half.
half would be,
Ti, ta.
yeah, I would say ta, just hold it for 2. Like,
I see. I forgot about that.
Oh yes.
Okay, you can go play. I'm gonna force these guys to know something else. Huh?
Tika tika.
Okay.
Combined all 4.
So
Definitely not being me.
this is what Nathan. Where'd Nathan go?
I don't know
So
the answer to the
let's go down here to the bottom real
He's
quick.
gone.
This is My Hope is Built on Nothing Less. We're gonna do this real quick, okay? So what is our starting note here?
I
Anybody,
know.
anybody want to guess our starting note?
That's a P.
Well,
An
so
upside down half note.
it's really, sometimes you have the staff going up and sometimes you have it going down. It doesn't change the type of note. So
Doesn't change.
it just depends on where
it falls.
it falls with other notes. So, you know, the top, there's 4 notes on the songs usually, right? And so this probably had something else either above it or below it that was in the way, so the staff goes down instead of up. Doesn't change the type of note it is. So if it was up on this line, it'd be an E. What would be the space below the E?
E sharp.
It's not sharp unless it has a sharp symbol. What would you say? What? No, and sharp and flat only comes if it's shown here. So remember, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So what comes before an E in the alphabet?
D.
D. So this is, if it was on that line, it'd be E. It's the space below, so it'd be a
D.
D, right? So that's a D, and then this represents what?
Sharp.
If there was an F, the F would be sharp, but we're not starting on F. So your starting note there is a D, which is My Hope is Built on Nothing Less. This is 3 4. Caitlin, how many? What does the 3 tell us?
3 beats a measure.
There's 3 beats in a measure. How many were here? 4. So there's only 3 beats in a measure on this. And which type of note gets the full beat? The quarter note, right? So we're gonna start this off. Quarter note. I'm sorry. 8th note starts here. Quarter note, right? So 1 half, 1 1, right? So 1 2 3 measure. 1 2 3 measure. 1 2 3 measure. 1 2 3 measure, right? This is actually My Hope is Built on Nothing Less if you looked up in the book. Now, what's interesting is at the very start of the song, how many beats are over in this side? Right here. How many beats is that?
1.
Yeah, it's just 1 beat, right?
Yeah, 1.
Aren't we supposed to have 3 in a measure? A lot of songs don't start with a full measure. If you look,
So you're going.
yeah, if you look, so most Jesus Loves Me, you start, going down, right? If there's 4 beats at the beginning, then you're starting going down. But if it's a half measure If you look at the very end of the song, the other 3 notes are at the very bottom of the song. So it kind of carries over. It stops halfway through the measure and then it's starting here. So this means you're going to start on your upbeat, right? So you guys have led some songs where you start down, and sometimes you start up, sometimes you start to the left or right, right? Just depends on how many beats are there. So this is going to be, my hope is built on nothing less than, okay? Good? I think that's all I wanted to cover. Oh, no, we didn't cover this. So sometimes you're going to see 2-2. 2-2 is funky. What's it tell us? Caitlin, what's a 2 tell us? 2 beats in a measure, right? This bottom 2, the other ones are all 4s, right? Meaning the quarter note gets full beat. The bottom 2 means what? That the half note gets the full beat, which is really odd. So your quarter note becomes half beats now. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is a half note, you get 1 beat, right? So Jesus Loves Me, when we do it with the kids, we actually have them do it 4-4, but it's really a 2-2. And usually on 2-2, you just kind of go down and up, down and up. So it's really, Jesus loves me, this I know. What's that?
Sometimes it's easier to
Yeah,
because then you're just
sometimes.
going up and down.
Yeah.
But
Right. It's just hard to find yourself, right? So that is what music is all about. Did that sound familiar? Oh, this one's really hard.
So what about that then?
So your mom wants to. So your mom is asking about trust and obey, which is 6/8. And 6/8 gets really confusing.
To do that.
And sometimes 6/8 can be a fast song, and sometimes it's a slow song, and I'll beat it up differently depending on what it is. Okay? Trust and obey to me is a really hard one to beat out because
That's the
it's a
first one
slower
I did, and I
one.
messed it up.
So 6/8 means how many notes does each measure get? 6. Yeah, I said notes, but it gets 6 beats, right? And what gets the full note, the full beat? The 8th note, right? So it used to be the 8th note in 4/4 was getting half a beat. It's now getting the full beat, right?
So you've
Which
got a
means a
lot of beats.
whole note is getting how many beats?
If an eighth note, or if an eighth is a whole, then a whole beat would be 4.
Yeah, in fact, I asked that and then I thought, well, I'm not even sure you'd see a whole note in 6/8. Because, so I'll go back up to this. Here, in 4/4, what was this? How many beats did this get?
2.
Nope.
Oh,
That's a half note with a dot, which gave it what? 3 beats,
Three.
right? Right?
Yeah.
In 2/2 time, you multiply by 2, right? So if that was getting 3 beats in 4/4, in 2/2 it gets how many beats?
if
3
it's a
times 2 is 6. So that would be
whole-
equivalent to a whole note in 2/2 time.
Let's see.
So if you see trust and obey, you guys don't have it. We don't have another songbook, do we? So it's starting with 16th notes. You see the double lines there. So remember, quarter notes had the line here. If you see 2 lines, it's cut the quarter note in half. Now it's 16th notes, right? You can actually have 32nd notes, which are really fast. Right? Real fast. So this is starting when we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word. So I would beat it out. On this one, I would beat out 6 beats. Sometimes I switch to more of a 3/4, but it really depends on the song. So when you beat 6 notes, you would come down, over, 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 and then up, right? So down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sense? So when we walk with the Lord in the light of His word, what a glory He sheds on our way. Okay?
Can't you do that song slow or fast depending on
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of about the normal speed that you do. You can sing it a little bit faster.
yeah, because when I did it pretty fast, but I also know a lot.
Yeah. So 6/8 kind of changes depending on how you're doing it. So some 6/8 song you do almost like up and down. So okay, that's all I have for today. You guys want to sing your songs? You guys know what songs you guys are gonna